Both teams rather low on reserve time now, so 3 more picks to go for each, and they haven't got too much, and they actually go for the Undying, a hero we haven't seen over the past couple days, and one of your favorites.
Yeah, it's really one of my favorite heroes. You can do a lot in lane. You apply so much pressure in that laning phase. You scale nicely, although they have shifted the talents around just a tad. But you still do a lot of work towards that mid to late game. Just your priorities do change. You're more of a sacrificial lamb trying to distract people, and I feel like it's still strong. It definitely has kind of tapered off in the meta, just kind of faded away, and that is sort of in response to Tri-lanes really just fading off a bit as well, because Undying really dominates against Tri-lanes. So Widow's pretty much faded away for the most part. The Undying isn't as prominent, and I think the talent shift kind of hurt him as well. Interesting to see that, TNC goes to that Sven again, and should give them some flexibility. More than likely looking to be a support Sven now, and we do see TNC pulling back to that Drow strat.
I mean, with that Spectre coming out, I suppose TNC do get the go-ahead to try for that strat again. Of course, we know very well Spectre takes a very long time to get online. And once she is online, she's an absolute headache to deal with, but it takes time. Once again, like this is almost like MP playing Lifestealer, but just kind of worse than last time. We'll see what Fnatic's plan is, but what I'm saying is, John, both heroes need a lot of farm. I'm not trying to pick on MP at all. I'm just saying that they need time.
Yeah, and Fnatic will have to try to hold the tide against the amazing push potential from TNC here. I mean, they have the Enigma, the Eidolons, they have the Shadow Shaman with wards, and, all these heroes in the units can benefit from that Drow aura. So it's going to be a bit of a rough time here to try to stem the tide of that push. They do have ways of dealing with it. I feel like they're going to need a mid hero that can wave clear really well. Gonna go on a bender here and say maybe something like a Lina would be quite good, especially for pushing back those waves. Maybe a DK even if you wanted something that could push fine as well. Something a bit more sacrificial as well, buying some time for the Spectre. But I feel like you're gonna want something with some burst going towards that mid game when Spectre is still trying to farm up. I think the Lina has pretty good timings that could. The Lina has pretty good timings that could complement that Spectre.
We're going to find out soon, TNC. 10 seconds of reserve time left for this final ban, and they will get rid of that DK you mentioned. Now, final pick for them to finish off this draft. They won't have access to that puck like the first game. It was just banned out by Fnatic. They don't want to have to go through that again. And it does make much sense. With the Dream Call, Sven can just go in with that cleave and deal a hell of a lot of damage. Even if he is a support, it's still very useful, but... And see... Go for the Queen of Pain. We saw Cuckoo had a crazy good performance on this Queen of Pain the other day. I do believe it probably will be Armel that's playing that Queen of Pain this time around, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, again, a bit of flexibility here coming out from TNC's draft. You can toss a few of these heroes in different lanes, but I do feel like I'll have to agree with you in that Armel is more than likely going to be playing this Queen of Pain. We're going to see the safe lane Drow and the off lane Enigma in this case. Fnatic, again, still have to pick a hero that can kind of deal with the early aggression that's going to come out from TNC. You're going to have something that can stem the tide from that amazing push potential from having that Shadow Shaman, the Enigma, and the Drow Ranger. I feel like Lina is still a pretty solid choice here. The DK would have been nice, but again, it was banned out. They go with the Ember, which is fair enough as well. Does wave clear quite nicely. Really highly mobile, does allow you to have a very wide presence in the map, and of course it's one of Abbott's signature heroes, I want to say. So it should be quite the match to watch, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a counter towards that Queen of Pain as well. The chain's going to root him in place so he can't blink away on that Queen of Pain. Certainly going to be a very entertaining match though. Very excited to see how this turns out. This is the final game of the Winners Bracket Final. Winner of this game will make it directly to the major. Loser will have a secondary chance in the lower bracket final. And of course, the two opponents that it could be still do have a series that will be coming up straight after this between Mineski and EVOS Esports. But for now, we'll forget about them and we'll We'll remind ourselves about Fnatic and TNC. I don't know. Drow strat again versing Fnatic, who look like they have a better strat to deal with it than last time, I would say. Overall, John, before we go into the third game, who do you kind of feel has the upper hand?
I feel like if TNC can shut down MP and just slow down his farm, we might see a repeat of the story in Game 1. Granted, Fnatic does have stronger supports this time around, stronger offlane presence with that Doom, and I feel like a much better hero for Abed with that Ember Spirit, so it might not go as badly as Game 1, but again, I feel like it's hanging on MP to not totally abandon his lane by the first 7-6 minutes. So they do have to kind of secure MP a good time in that lane. If they can do that, and if they can stave off the aggression from TNC once again, I am expecting a really early push from these guys with the draft they have in hand. If they can stem off the first 20 to 30 minutes of push, they would find enough space for themselves to really start growing bigger, I think, for Fnatic. If not, well, it's going to be a hard time here. Like, if they taper off behind, they're going to lose map control fast. You're going to be facing off an Enigma who's going to have the items he needs. He's going to have a BKB, maybe even Linken's at some point. And at that point, you really just can't stop the Enigma. You can't even steal the Black Hole. Whereas for TNC, all they have to do is really play aggressively, bring that aggression they have had past series, and just take it up there again. Shut down MP, slow down Abed, and you're in a pretty good spot as TNC.
Just looking at Cuckoo right now, he's in for a real tough game, Cuckoo. KP certainly, again, knows how Cuckoo's going to feel this game. So many ways of shutting this Black Hole down, either with the Steel or with the Doom. Of course, you have the Sleight of Fist into chains as well, but that's not as common. We'll see what Cuckoo's performance is going to be like, because he has been playing very well over the last couple of days. Of course, Armel once again will be up against Abed. Abed this time around won't be on the Pangolier, but rather the Ember Spirit. Again, this is one of his signatures. He does love playing the Ember. I expect that he'll probably put on a bit of a performance for us. Top lane. They may actually have their first team fight kind of at the early stages of the game. We haven't actually seen one this series. Looks like Fnatic just back off. They will, however, start with 3 boundary runes. Nobody on the side of TNC actually go down to claim that. An MP just by himself will be able to take it for the team.
Yeah, that's a nice little gold boon again for Fnatic. That does help Abed out in this mid lane. So that gives him a nice early start to play with. Just a slight gold boost to help him out. Armel probably going to be okay with that deficit. It's not the biggest thing in the world to lose out on. Just a nice little boon for the other side, but hey. It is some added regen to start off with.
I thought we were about to see a tri-lane versus tri-lane matchup in the offlane, but DJ does rotate down to help out MP in the laning phase up against Cuckoo. A fairly smart choice in my opinion, because it is an Enigma versus Spectre. Looks like the top lane will now be a tri-lane versus dual lane. TNC gonna hold on to the tri-lane for the moment. Though up against an Undying, it really doesn't make it easy. Like, this man just keeps stacking up those decays, and it makes it hard to really think about diving in.
Yeah, again, that's the strength of the Undying. The more heroes you have in the lane, the better Undying does. And that's really just the nature of it, especially the decay spam that you can expect. So he will sap away a lot of strength, his right-click damage grows as well, tankiness grows, and he can apply a lot of harass by being at the right spot with a few decay stacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking 2 people on right now, and Radiant Courier going down again. Where is this happening?
This time it's Armel just diving for it. I think he saw it come out, blinked in, got a couple of right clicks, and takes it out. Nice move from him, maximizing that Queen of Pain mobility really early on.
Jabs now, copying a fair bit of damage. Stun will come out from AU, and it looks like they want to go for this, but he does have 20 stacks of strength right now. Sitting at 1k HP total. And they'll think better of it, they'll just back off. This does allow Gabby to just free farm that safe lane though for the moment. Again, they'll throw out another stun. Those decays still haven't worn off. They will begin to, but Jabs is... Oh, Tim's walks in with the Ether Shock. Finds the pickoff. That's a very interesting first blood going to the way of TNC.
Yeah, I think that's fine for Fnatic though. Again, we've reached a point where Jabs has expended all his mana regen as well. So he wasn't really going to get any more done in that lane until he went back to base. Doesn't unfortunately have money for additional regen, so his options in this life are going to be limited as well.
See what he can get done. The Gabby. Yeah, pretty nice time again up against Ice, who can't really harass the Drow Ranger very well. Especially when she's got 2 supports with her. Does manage to pick up the Shockwave though, so Tim's gonna learn the hard way. This lane looks to be slowing down a bit, so we'll move over to the other lanes where Abed is up against Armel once again. Armel currently leading the lane quite heavily with about 6 last hits advantage. We did see Abed using a salve before, so it does appear the harassment has been quite successful from Armel. Not to mention the fact that he did get that courier earlier on.
Yeah, I think that really hurt Abed, because again, mid lane is controlled with... I mean, the tempo here is really coming from how much regen you can ferry to yourself sometimes, and just losing out on courier for a minute and a half does hurt immensely. So Armel has been taking advantage of that early courier takeout, and he does show it in his creep score, 17-8 up against Abed's 11-2. Not the biggest imbalance there, but definitely a nice start for TNC.
They haven't really been able to shut down MP at all though in the safe lane. MP almost at the top of the last hits board right now, only behind the Drow, and in fact he will take over. Not much Cuckoo can do on this Enigma. Meanwhile, top lane, Ice is going to be in a spot or bother right now. They are going to make the chase, but he is healing up quite nicely. In fact, he finds Tim's. He will go down, but that's a nice little trade for himself. Better than nothing. And now Jabs trying to go for the decays. AU comes back in. The soul rip will be there from Jabs, and an unusual mistake coming out from AU.
Nah, I think he was wanting to get that stun off first because he was going to be in soul rip range either way. So he figured he might as well try to get that stun. Maybe he could get a few steps required to live. Didn't quite happen. Nice movement coming out from Jabs. Would have wished he was there a bit earlier, but nonetheless, they do get the counter kill there, which is pretty alright to trade for.
Smokes on Jabs right now. They don't get the bounty off the side of the Radiant, though they are making a chase onto Ice. Looks like Tim's is forced to back off. While Abed focusing on the jungle for the moment. Ice falling very low in that off lane. Should go down, and he will. The tombstone as well, gonna be fed to the side of TNC. AU will pick that one up for himself. And Fnatic not looking in the greatest position right now. Like, you've got your mid laner who's under-leveled, under-farmed, and sitting in the jungle trying to farm up there. Your off lane is not going too well either. The only thing that's going very well is MP on that Spectre.
Yeah, I think that's honestly fine for Fnatic. As long as MP hits a good timing, once again, he gets a good time on his level 6 Haunt, they will be able to get work done. They're going to be able to at least get the immediate jump on Gabby whenever that push breaks out, so those options will be available for Fnatic. And again, as long as the Spectre gets a pretty good first 10 minutes, I have to say it's not going to be too bad for Fnatic.
My only concern for MP on that Spectre is Armel is currently free farming that mid lane, pretty much getting anything he wants right now. The Queen of Pain gets too far ahead. We can see some really early rotations down to that bot lane to try and take out that Spectre. It looks like Abed will return back to the lane now, but only has one Tango, one Fairy Fire available on him. Does have the level 6 at least, so he will have the remnants available to be able to escape any attempt by Armel. While top lane, Size looks like they were trying to make a rotation onto him, but he will be alright. Bot lane as well, we do have a couple coming down. Cuckoo, not level 6 yet, but they should be able to take out DJ and Armel. He will get started on that Queen of Pain. A nice little support kill going his way.
Yeah, rather deep dive coming out from Fnatic. I'm kind of surprised they choose to force that issue with just the Rubik and the Spectre. Granted, your Spectre is having a good time. I don't think the damage output is going to be that great yet, so forcing a dive under that tier 1 was optimistic, I want to say, but it does force a rotation out from TNC, so that does bide him some space down in mid for good old Abed.
AU. Getting chased down. No level 6 available yet on Ice. They will not pursue that chase onto the Sven. Like Tims will rotate back up towards that top lane. But there is a tri-lane now from the side of Fnatic, so things got a lot more dangerous for Gabby. Doesn't look like they're really aware that DJ is there on the Rubik either, so this is going to be a bit of a surprise. They're going to start going onto the Undying, but it's a bit of a bait here. Nice silence from Gabby, and the Spec will come in as well. MP, he gets involved early, but look at that Sonic Wave coming out from Armel. So much damage, but it's not going to be quite enough. Tims does go down. Armel has another scream. We'll throw it out as well. AU, the stun, will only connect on one. They really want Ice, and it looks like they will eventually get him. The Sonic Wave from Armel, though, just lines them up. I mean, those heroes have gone death at this point. Though, Abed will try and help out the team, find a trade, although he doesn't want to give a trade to the side of TNC. He does have a haste rune, he'll be perfectly fine. He'll just run his way out.
Yeah, again, that is a beautiful rotation coming out from Armel. Just that nice Sonic Wave from the backline, pushing everyone back, breaking up that combination from Fnatic and just costing them that entire team fight. Really good movement coming out from him, I have to say, Armel. And he does tend to do this a lot. Like, his movements are usually on point, and he really does carry a lot of the momentum for TNC into that mid game. So a good start for him already, and looking forward to see if he can keep that up for his team.
Of course, we should mention Cuckoo does hit that level 7 now. You'd have the black hole available for just a few moments. Though, as we learnt from the other games we've seen, it's again, it's going to be a very hard game to get a perfect black hole off or a black hole at all. So the likelihood is Cuckoo probably is going to use that very conservatively. Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be surprising if he does. Again, that is just the nature of how Enigma is against a Rubik.
MP getting chased right now. Stun will be there. He doesn't have help at the moment. They're rotating in. DJ will run his way in as well. They're going straight after Armel on that Queen of Pain, who doesn't have a blink available. Cuckoo, can he get a black hole off? He won't throw it out because DJ is waiting. Armel will have enough time to be able to blink. AU actually going to TP underneath the creep wave, so nobody dies down at that bot lane.
Yeah, I'm rather surprised Cuckoo is still being quite conservative with that black hole. Granted, I don't think that was the time to use it anyway. It was a 3 versus 4, 2 versus 4 up against, you know, the Radiant side Shrine, which means that they could have just TP'd everyone there anyway. Would have been a very optimistic sort of fight with just 3 of your heroes down there. So, the right decision to pull back. I don't think he should be too scared of the Rubik yet. I mean, DJ is still level 5. He has some time until that 6 comes out, where he's free to just use that black hole.
A little play there onto Abed, but it won't lead to a kill. MP, after that gank attempt, will just suffice in the jungle. Not willing to go into those risky areas of the map at the moment, especially with Armel dishing out so much damage on that Queen of Pain. Cuckoo, though, nice stun from the dominated creep, and he's going to try and go for DJ by himself. Pretty hard as an Enigma. Won't succeed, but he will at the very least get some nice chip damage on this tier 1 bot tower.
Yeah, and this is where the push does start to come in for TNC. They do have Gabby down here as well. So it looks like they do want to secure this tier 1, and it should definitely just go down.
DJ immediately out of there, and like you said, tier 1 is gone. Cuckoo doing a good job in this bot lane, and of course we understand TNC with this Drow Ranger, they want to maintain map control throughout the game. They will run past the Undying jabs, but you're right. Meanwhile, Armel actually finding a solo pick-off onto DJ. And with that, I thought they may rotate mid, but they're actually still pushing bot lane.
I think that's a fair point. They know that Fnatic is a bit scattered right now. They're trying to get their own push going up top. And they know that no one's down mid because Armel just killed DJ, so that is an opening for TNC to exploit.
Jabs, gonna get stunned up. He's a hard target. He drops the tombstone as well. AU just gonna go for it, and now MP. Who have they gone on? It is Gabby, but he is surrounded. Serpent Ward's being dropped. Tim's trying to save Gabby the best he can, but he can't. Meanwhile, Jabs is still alive throughout all this. Ice finds a double. Cuckoo can't really do much. He gets doomed anyway. He's just a sitting duck at this point, and he's definitely dead. That is a triple for Ice. AU, the last one standing on top of the hill. Arteezy would have been proud. That'll be 4 down for the side of TNC. The only man standing is Armel, who is finding some damage on the T1 tower mid. But that is certainly a massive win for the side of Fnatic.
Definitely so. A nice set of fights for Fnatic. Very clean. And they are really maximizing this haunt. Every time it's up, MP's just ready to go. They reposition themselves towards Gabby if he's on the map and just jump him immediately. I think that's the right way to play for Fnatic, really maximizing that haunt, maximizing that instant gap closer to that Drow, which takes away a lot of Drow's kit. You know, it just immediately removes that marksmanship, and that is very costly in a hero who relies on that for a lot of burst damage coming out. So I do like how Fnatic is playing. I have to say, it's surprising that TNC does not use that downtime between haunts more often, like forcing these fights between the haunts. I think that's really the key for TNC's tempo. When they know that haunt is down, that's their time to be on the map. That's their time to smoke up and start hunting MP down.
Absolutely. And they may start that up, John. They're going through the mid lane now, trying to apply that pressure while the haunt is down. It should be a very easy tier 1 to take with all the Eidolons and the dominated creep from Cuckoo on that Enigma. Fnatic will not even bother trying to defend that. They do try to get the tier 1 top, but Armel will be there to defend in time, so Ice does back off. Doesn't have the Doom available either, so no real point in trying to go after Armel. But they may find AU here on the Sven. Chains are there, and this should be a nice and easy kill, although TNC... Well, I was going to say perhaps they back him up, but it looks like Fnatic just weren't feeling like it was worth risking that to go up the high ground.
I think that's a fair call to make. They didn't really have wards by the shrine area, so you weren't sure if the whole complement of TNC was waiting for them. A bit of a risk that you don't need to take, especially since you only had, you know, what, 2 tree heroes up there, and you could potentially be facing up against all 5. So better play safe. You know, just do what you can, get back to farming, and wait again for that haunt to be back up for Fnatic.
Ice, trying to get that Blink Dagger up, getting very close as well, and that's just going to make it even harder to even attempt a Black Hole, although they are going to make the jump on Ice. He commits the drum charge, and there are rotations immediately to make sure he's safe. Quick reactions coming out from Fnatic. That was actually Arbed, who does get back towards that mid lane. Or in fact, no, make that bot lane. Let's get the chains off. Tims. It's easily going to go down here, though. Who gets the kill? MP will be the one to take it. Gets ever so close to picking up that Radiance on the Spectre.
Yeah, and again, it looks to be a fairly decent timing on that Radiance. Not the fastest we've seen. At the same time, it's, you know, at the very least, it's not like a shutdown Radiance timing, so... Should have it at a good time. Haunt is back up for Fnatic. I'm guessing they might want to at least wait for the Sacred Relic first until they get the jump going, or until they can see Gabby on the map.
What situation do you feel like we need to be in for Cuckoo to feel comfortable with that Black Hole? Because, I mean, 15 minutes in, still haven't seen one, which again, we kind of expected this conservative style of Enigma. But at what point do you think it's safe to throw it out?
We've seen it time and time again when the Enigma is up against Rubik. Sometimes you don't see the Black Hole until 20 minutes, 25 minutes after a BKB. Sometimes the first Black Hole is only on a Rubik. It really depends on TNC, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the next 10 minutes wouldn't give us a Black Hole yet. Still only the Dominator up in Cuckoo. I'm guessing he's really just going to wait for at least the BKB before he commits.
There's a big fight coming up at top lane, John. Again, the Haunt is now available, so Fnatic feel more than comfortable to try and defend this top tier 1 tower. TNC still trying to make the decision as to whether they are going to go in for a team fight. Again, Cuckoo has no real way to initiate right now. No real Blink Dagger there to be used. Does have to rely a lot on being set up for that ultimate. But at the very least, they will be able to find the tier 1 tower. The Serpent Wards doing the work they needed. Nice deny though from DJ. Perfectly timed right click from him. That will deny quite a bit of gold from the side of TNC.
Yeah, that's going to hurt their progression just a tad. Not that TNC is falling behind. They do have a 3k network advantage right now. But again, every little bit of gold helps, and just having tower denied when you are, you're running a drow strat, you want those early objectives for the gold and the control, and you get denied the gold. It kind of hurts for your side. At the same time, you're not too upset as long as you're still taking control of the map.
We did see a smoke coming up from Fnatic. Unfortunately for them, they were just on the edge of the Dire Observer ward in that Radiant side jungle on the west of the map. And they were going for Armel, but he immediately blinks, and now it looks like they want to go for this team fight after the smoke wears off. AU trying to bait them out to
MP.
move in further. Meanwhile, yeah, MP, he can't afford to die like this. Tims, they can't finish him off in time. Tims may lose his life, but he'll get away in time. Now, they're looking for Gabby, which is the much bigger target. They can't hold him in place, although, no, they can. Ice had the Doom available. Arbed did have the chains on cooldown at the time, but they get a very important pickup.
That looked pretty tight for MP. It didn't look like they had enough damage, though. If they did hold that chain stun long enough, and MP died, that would have delayed his Radiance timing by a bit, and that definitely hurts the cost of Fnatic. So, rather unfortunate for TNC missing out on that kill, and even more unfortunate that they lose Gabby.
They're going to go after DJ. And by getting DJ down on the respawn board, this will mean they can actually go for that tier 2 mid push rather safely, knowing they can rely on that black hole now. DJ did just manage to pick up a Blink Dagger as well. Ice, a nice shockwave through all the side of TNC. And it looks like TNC will actually back off and perhaps go for a Roche attempt. Looks like that's where they're headed, although no, TNC will loop around. Get some D wards going, but this does make it fairly obvious. Fnatic. Safe, they will back off for the moment, though MP is a massive target. TNC, they go in, the stun is there, Cuckoo holding onto the black hole for the moment. He will just use the Malefice. Meanwhile, Armel trying to go into the backlines to help out from there, although nice chains from Arbed to hold him in place. Now the steal as well. He only got the blink, and they will take out DJ once again. Teamfight continues, although it is under the Radiant Shrine, and TNC not interested in pursuing any longer. Armel does get chained up, but Fnatic will not go for the dive in on TNC. We'll get started on the Roshan. Not sure about this one. DJ probably will respawn in time. Looks like they do opt to back out instead.
Yeah, nice clean pick off for TNC, at the very least for Fnatic. It didn't end up being MP who died, so they should count their lucky stars for that one. Looked like it might have been very bad for MP if no one was in that immediate area. He does manage to get away, and that does mean he can go back to farming his Radiance, just about 300 gold away. Once that is up, his damage output should go up significantly. Going to be a lot more annoying to deal with him in teamfights, and I think that's when we start to see a slight kick up in Fnatic's aggression. Not too much, as it still takes a bit for the Spectre to really come online, but this is still a pretty good time for the Radiance to come in.
Like DJ, still on the Queen of Pain blink. Now, double blink available on this Rubik. There will be a smoke from TNC. Looks like they were headed for someone up top, but they did TP away, and I believe that was MP who got the TP. Now a smoke coming out from Fnatic. They want to try and get a counter smoke, or perhaps even try to sneak the Roshan while TNC is not expecting it. See now, do loop around. It looks like Arbed gonna set himself up with a Remnant. Fnatic gonna run into AU. That's not the target they want. They do back off for a moment. AU tanking a fair bit of damage for the moment and throws out the stun as well. TNC thinking about jumping in, but not quite yet. They do jump in the backlines after DJ, but he gets out of there. Meanwhile, MP, he's come in with that ultimate, and there's already 2 down for TNC. Can they get any more? Cuckoo is chasing Ice, but he's so low on HP, though Armel will finish him off, and now they're going to try for MP, but he is rather tanky for a Spectre right now. They have to back off. Abed still there and still very healthy. Jabs will go down. Gabby just allowed to right click. They will not be able to get Abed at the very least. Now MP still in trouble. In fact, no, he will find another kill and goes to the TP, but the Rod of Atos was there just in time. They'll find the Spectre. They will not be able to get Abed, who continues to juke them out. And a very, very mixed kind of team fight. I'm not actually sure who came out on top there, but it was a 3-for-3 trade with one buyback for each team, so fairly even team fight. Though Fnatic do end up losing 2 cores, where TNC, they only really lose 1 in the Enigma.
I feel like that is a slight win for TNC. Granted, they did have a dieback on the Shadow Shaman. They do kill off MP Spectre, which really is the key target here. Just slowing out that further itemization on that spec is enough to make you happy. They also did fight under Haunt, so the fact that they still managed to get a few kills of their own under that Haunt is a pretty big boon to TNC. So I'd say overall that is a slight win for TNC, but not a bad trade for Fnatic. Not ideal, but not a bad trade at all for Fnatic. I feel like, again, they're going to have to wait for the next Haunt before forcing something out, and I think they probably might want that Manta style up as well before MP jumps back in here.
I mean, the thing is, they are stopping the side of TNC from taking complete map domination with this lineup that they have. We'll have another pause. This time, though, it will be from Fnatic's end. Of course, there are still 2 out of Tier 2 towers remaining for the side of Fnatic, so they are holding on longer than the first game. They certainly look a lot better as well, because we saw that first game where that Lifestealer being played by MP just could not farm whatsoever. This time it's rather different. He's 3rd in net worth already at the 23-minute mark, and with that Radiance that he picked up recently, he will be able to start to escalate rather quickly.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that TNC didn't really shut down MP this time around. They didn't really invest in the resources to keep him down. So eventually, MP is going to be a big issue. He's going to scale really well, whereas, the Drow does stop scaling at some point. Queen of Pain does kind of turn into more of a utility core at some point as well, building up tank items and perhaps an Aeon Disc to just be able to initiate well. Whereas, on Fnatic side, you have great scaling with the Ember Spirit. You have great scaling with the Spectre, one of the best late-game cores there are. And, the Rubik just gets stronger. Perhaps the itemization coming out from DJ will continue to provide great utility and should be able to turn some team fights later on as well. So you do have pretty good scaling on TNC, but much better scaling, I feel, on Fnatic. And that does mean that there's a bit of a timer on TNC side. Not like the last game where you had your supports who can really scale quite well, the Luna and Sven in that case. This time around, you do still have the Sven, but you also have the Shadow Shaman who really wants to push, right? And there's only so much those wards can do towards that late game until you start getting items as well. With the rate this game is going, I don't see Tim's building up too much. I don't think it's right to expect him to have the Agnims and the Refresher Orb in this game. It's just a bit of a tall order, especially when all 3 cores kind of want more items on them. So he's going to have to be taking that backseat for a while on the Shadow Shaman, which means we're not going to really see the maximum split push from the Shadow Shaman, like the maximum tower threat.
On that note as well, John, I mean, I'm not blaming him for this, but we have not actually seen one black hole thrown out yet. 23 minutes in, again, we kind of expected it to be rather slow for the Enigma, but I mean, it is literally kind of like a passive ability right now for Cuckoo, and it doesn't look like he plans to throw it out anytime soon. He hasn't gone for those mobility items like the Blink either, rather going straight into the pipe.
I think it's perfectly within expectations. I'll be honest, this is exactly what I expected from Cuckoo's Enigma. Not down to the player, it's just down to the circumstances. This is what tends to happen when you have that Rubik. You asked me at 15 minutes in when I'd expect the black hole to come out. I said, it's probably not going to come out for another 10 minutes. We've almost reached that point, still no black hole. And in fact, I'm not even sure if we're going to see it past 25 minutes yet, Mike, because the pipe is being worked on by Cuckoo. I think the tendency for a lot of Enigmas is to wait for the BKB before coming out and using that black hole. So it's still going to be a while longer until we probably see that in the team fight.
I mean, my only concern is, John, the Doom and the spell still go through that. I mean, the same problems are still there for Cuckoo either way, whether he has the BKB or not. Of course, you mentioned the other day, he has the option for the Lincoln Sphere, but DJ generally does go for the Ags, and as you can see, he has queued it up after the Aether Lens. I guess we'll wait and see for that one moment. We will see it thrown out. BKB, speaking of, does come out for Gabby now on that Drow Ranger. Gabby just trying to get that farm up, still maintaining the top net worth lead throughout this game. Net worth advantage does remain TNC's way as well, but only by about 2k. So really nothing to write home about. And Fnatic, they will go for a smoke attempt now at the 24-minute mark. Of course, the Horn is available to go. So we did kind of talk about how you'd prefer MP to wait for that Manta style to join in. It looks like Fnatic want to make it happen right here, right now. Spot out AU. AU, make a run away. Fnatic, or if they'll actually make it in time to catch this Sven out. They will just commit to pushing out that top lane, it seems, instead.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Really conservative play here from Fnatic, but again, I don't think they're under pressure to really force the issue early on. I think that is definitely on TNC. I feel like they should be clearing out the map at this point in the game, start clearing out those last tier 2s, start posturing themselves for the Roshan as well, for the high ground push. But TNC as well is seemingly alright with farming up a bit, which is fair enough, but again, you're on a bit of a timer here with the Drow, with the Enigma. And you do want to maximize this point in the game where you're still quite strong.
Pipe is now up for Cuckoo as well. Gonna help a lot against that magic damage coming in from Fnatic. He hasn't queued anything else up quite yet, so can't really say what he'll go for. Perhaps he will go for that BKB you mentioned earlier on, or perhaps he will choose the Lincoln's route. Perhaps he just skips both. DJ nowhere near the Aghanim Scepter yet. Still trying to go for that Aether Lens at the moment, so he will pay a couple dividends to go for that Lincoln Sphere if he so chooses. Looks like both teams just going to be more than happy to farm for the moment though. Like, not really willing to team fight quite yet.
Yeah, again, I feel like that's kind of surprising for TNC. They really have a strong team fight in their lineup. With the Queen of Pain, with the Enigma, with the Sven even, and the Shadow Shaman. They really just aren't forcing the issue just yet. They do smoke up though.
Is that moment they were waiting for. Of course, the pipe has not been revealed yet. Gabby. Try and bait them out mid lane. Fnatic not taking that bait. They are waiting for TNC to just loop around. They may actually run to MP as well if they get lucky, but they are going to run straight towards that mid lane. Jabs going to be the first one. Arbit straight out of there. And it looks like Jabs will just lose his life. Although MP coming in. They're going to go for a massive team fight. There's the black hole. Cuckoo does manage to find it, but he's put in the tornado. Where the hell's DJ? He stole it. And he's going to use it all against them. And that was to be expected from DJ. TNC, they are not looking happy right now. Tims will lose his own life. And Gabby is the last one left. He'll try and fight against 5. He'll have no luck. Fnatic completely wipes TNC. John, it was a good black hole. DJ was just a little bit better.
Yeah, he was, you know, obviously, as long as DJ's not caught in that black hole, it's going to be really easy for him to get it well. Even if you do catch DJ, if you get stunned up, he's just going to steal it straight away. And really unfortunate for TNC. I think that's a target error. TNC was trying to jump Abed, but an Ember Spirit is not the easiest thing in the world to catch out, especially if your Shadow Shaman can't close that gap to get the Hex going. Like, no blink up yet on Tims. He would have had to walk up to Abed, and that would have been really optimistic to work that in. So, again, rather odd targeting from TNC.
Cuckoo.
That does cost him that team fight.
Ice. Gonna be a KB up. Cuckoo trying to cause some havoc in the Roche pit. Roshan was already down. MP does have the Aegis now on the Spectre. And MP has also overtaken in terms of net worth now. Almost 15k on the Spectre. looking certainly a lot more threatening than he was about 10 minutes ago. Does have that
Certainly
full
so.
manta up.
Certainly so. He's about to hit that level 20 as well, Mike, so that plus 500 HP talent is going to come in, and you're just suddenly stuck against a very, very big fat problem here. You know, it's just going to amp up the damage output from the Spectre. Dispersion is going to last a bit longer because she has so much more HP to shed, and you're really just going to have a rough time against MP now, because you've let him free farm for a majority of the game. You did not maximize that downtime between the haunts.
Abed doing a nice job. He was the one that got the Yules off onto Cuckoo through that team fight. It's like Cuckoo actually going to be opting as well to go for the blink rather than any kind of magic immunity. That does mean, unfortunately, he will have to catch Doom, Ember, and Rubik in the black hole at the very least. Otherwise, it is almost guaranteed to be cancelled off. AU may get caught out mid lane. They are surrounding him right now, but again, it's not really the target they want to go for. But they will probably just suffice with the tier 1 mid tower. And they're going to be more than happy to just take that for free. Thims pushing out the bot lane, trying to apply a bit of pressure. TNC were moving their way down, but they were just getting bounty runes. You're sitting at 18 to 12 now. 4k net worth lead to the side of Fnatic.
Again, it is reaching that point where Fnatic is set to take over. TNC, the timer in their back is ticking away, and they are going to lose effectiveness slowly but surely as long as they keep this game going for too long. Again, we saw one black hole coming out from Cuckoo, and I have to say it wasn't the most effective. Unfortunately, he definitely needs to keep the itemization going, keep the farm going, but there's only so much space in the map now after they've lost a few towers and lost some map control around the map. Good ward it's coming out from Fnatic, of course. Clear out jungle, make it a bit safer to check and patrol. And again, TNC is just playing really slower than I'd expect. There are moments in Fnatic's draft where they really can't respond too well, and those moments were when Haunt was off. But it looks like TNC has been happy farming.
Mid lane, Arbit makes the jump in. Tries to get the stun off, but it was dodged. AU still running with that Glimmer Cape. Will he actually remain alive? No, Slide of Fist will be there from Arbit. That was a very nice Slide of Fist. Midway through the Remnant. Arbit will get started on the tier 2 tower. TNC not really in position to try and defend this. They may have to just give it the way of Fnatic, but it certainly doesn't go well with the game plan that they had with this draft. Fnatic really setting themselves up for a victory here if TNC aren't careful. Going for that top tier 2 tower as well. Again, starting to get that map control that TNC just had in their grasp a few minutes ago. And DJ will be there to clean that tier 2 up. Oh. Doom did not actually come out onto Armel. Blink away in time, but a nice attempt there from Ice. Of course, last game, John, we did see DJ playing that Nyx Assassin, and there were a few comments saying that the Impales were the actual Ravagers in the game. DJ showing us for the second time in a row that he can actually do a black hole better than the actual black hole owner.
Yeah, it's really just a tendency of these Rubiks, aren't it? I mean, their condition for getting that black hole off is much easier.
AU. Get lifted up. This is not the target they want. DJ now uses God's Strength against AU. AU, nice use coming out. Arbit making it just in time. Looks like they'll clean up an easy support Sven, or will they? He's making a run for it. Korea, AU does not turn around in time. He will not find it. Meanwhile, top lane, Gabby forced the BKB TP out. Ice could not cancel him off. He did not have vision for the Doom. And with that, a 20 to 12, the net worth lead will increase to 8k for the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, again, it's still very much in Fnatic's ball court now. They can take as long as they want, for the most part, as they've gotten MP quite fat. Abed's doing quite well for himself. Ice as well. DJ is working towards that Aghanims now. just about 500 gold off, and then you're going to have that very low cooldown spell steal as well.
Good. Cuckoo gets caught out, chained in place, and MP will haunt in and claim the kill. That is very concerning for TNC now. They are going to lose perhaps their final outer tower. We did see the Queen of Pain pushing that bot lane out, but it's not going to be quite enough, it seems, as Fnatic will clean it up themselves as well.
This is when, you know, the map is going to start shrinking here. TNC is going to lose their last outer tower, as you mentioned. And really, that just means there's no more room for TNC to farm. Fnatic has really good aggressive wards as well, surrounding that jungle. And you know what? TNC has some pretty deep wards as well. I just haven't noticed them playing that side of the map in a while.
Make matters worse for TNC. DJ is about 100 gold away from finishing off an Aghanim Scepter now. Does have that full Aether Lens as well. That is just going to make things that much harder. You saw Armel, he did pick up a Lincoln Sphere, but DJ really cancelled that Lincoln Sphere very, very quickly. Even if they do choose to put on Cuckoo to try and block the spell steal, not really going to matter because you can just do it again 2 seconds later.
Yeah, it's going to be a really rough time for TNC to try to find that perfect black hole now.
Cuckoo will be going for the BKB up next, and they are actually going to go for a smoke. Perhaps surprising Fnatic will do the job, though. No MP found him. He has a heart up as well, and look at the chains from Abed, just gripping them up together. There's no way they survive this, though. Armel going to go for the team fight, going after MP. Again, he just picked up the heart from the secret shop. He'll find a double kill. Now AU, he'll get used up by Abed. He's gone as well. 3 or 4 heroes down for the side of TNC. I mean, they saw MP at the secret shop, but that is probably the worst target for them to run into first. He is sitting at 4k HP right now.
Yeah, it's really strange that they would jump on MP. Even if they get all the stuns on and chain stun him, I still feel like that's a lot of damage you have to expect coming out onto this Spectre, and that damage might actually kill you. So it was a bit optimistic to try to go for that. And, you know, Fnatic has been sticking quite tightly together. You should have expected everyone else to be in the area as well. No one was under any sort of wards from TNC side. So always best to assume the worst there.
Arbit focusing on the mid. MP will join him there as well. Bot tower is also going down while this is happening, and they are waiting for Gabby to respawn with Armel. They will manage to claim 1 mid-rats, and it looks like they'll have maybe enough time to claim 2, perhaps even finish the game if they win another team fight. TNC gonna have to make some action happen right here, right now, and they will jump in with AU, though. Ice. He hasn't thrown out a Doom quite yet. In fact, he doesn't even have one, but MP's cleaning up. Armel, a nice Sonic Wave, but it's not going to be enough quite yet. They're going after Abed, but he's surviving throughout all this, and he finds a kill as well. He's remnanting all over the place. Tim's being chased down by MP. He's gone as well. Armel trying to run right now. He'll be fine, but the Rax won't be so lucky. In fact, Abed's back. The chain's coming out again. Cuckoo has the black hole, but again, he can't throw it out while DJ's around, and he won't even bother. Perhaps if they dive the fountain, he will. But they will not go for that risk. Ice, perhaps walking a bit too far, may lose his life, and he will to Armel. But they do end up claiming 2 racks, one in the mid, one in the bot. Fnatic are going to be more than happy to back off now.
Yeah, and that was even without them expending the haunt, so that option's going to be there for MP in case anything does break out in that downtime. And that's a lot of buybacks also being expended by TNC, so a really good high ground push coming out from Fnatic, and it's getting much harder for TNC to really get anything done in the map. I feel like they've definitely missed their timing window here, so it's all riding on the back of Cuckoo catching them in a big black hole that can turn this match around. The issue is that Fnatic has been spacing themselves out quite nicely, so Cuckoo will have to try to find the ideal target here, and it's just not been happening this game.
I mean, it's all because of one man as well, John. Like, the presence of DJ on that Rubik is enough so that in 38 minutes, we've only seen 1 black hole come out this whole game. I mean, he literally isn't doing anything. He's just being there. And it's enough to make sure Cuckoo is too afraid to throw it out. I can't blame Cuckoo, but you've got to praise DJ just for that respect that they're paying him.
Yeah, it's again very curious as to how that Enigma came out early without the Rubik ban. That you tend to really see that Rubik ban in the first phase when you plan to get the Enigma. The fact that TNC let it go to a player like DJ is curious.
They get the Yules off onto Tims, though Tims does have backup. Chains will be there from Arbed, holding him down. Now, Undying will commit the ultimate as well, and Tims looks like he will be the sacrificial lamb in this instance. Will just go down though, they're looking for even more. AU, an easy target though, Arbed wants Cuckoo, gets the chains as well, cancels the TP from Cuckoo. He just bought back as well. He might just have to throw out the black hole, but there's no... Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's not a nice way to end the game, John, but I feel like Fnatic has pulled through with this one. Definitely a dominant performance. Armel gonna give it a shot. Gabby, it's just 2 against 5 right now. Their last chance. They go after DJ, but the GG's called by Cuckoo while they're going for the team fight. And that'll be the end of that. Fnatic, they will claim the first ticket to Disneyland. TNC will have a second chance, of course. They will be in the lower bracket finals up against the winner of the next series, John. But congratulations to Fnatic, the first SEA team. They're going to be very excited right now.
Definitely so, Mike. And very well played to them. They managed to turn the series up to 1-1 and then go into taking that last game quite convincingly, really running a solid draft and playing against TNC's strengths. Really impressive to watch. I'm looking forward to see how they perform in the major, Mike, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the games we have left.
Yeah, absolutely. For the viewers watching, next series, our second series for the day out of the 3, will be Mineski vs EVOS Esports, both of which will be playing for that lower bracket final spot. So don't go anywhere. That will be coming up very, very soon. Of course, if you are enjoying, consider following us on Twitter at MLPDota and at johnxfire. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys in hopefully a few minutes to see how the next series goes. Won't be too long, guys.